Another happy landing. Another happy landing. In this scenario, you'll be pitted against simulated light fighters employed by the enemy en masse. Utilize the Altus' superior long-range weaponry to take them out. If they get in close, corkscrew and gain separation. Whatever you do, don't get into a habit of committing to head-on attacks. You don't get posthumous medals for slamming focus on one of the cheapest pieces of hardware the enemy fields.
Keep your head on a swivel. There's an enemy fighter. This is no match race. You are cleared to take off. Good work, Craig. Not bad for a first mission. Confirming all probes. Work out.
Another happy landing.